Welcome to a New Beginning podcast. I'm your host, Maureen Doyle. I'm a certified life coach, author, and coffee enthusiast. Did you know that at any moment you can create a new beginning in your health, relationships, career, or mindset? Each week, I will share simple strategies to transform your life and create new beginnings. Ready to start yours? Let's dive in. Hey there, my friends. Welcome to the podcast. Today, I'm going to talk about something that quietly steals a lot of power in life. Blame. Blaming other people, blaming circumstances, situations, and sometimes blaming ourselves. Most of us walk around believing that other people control how we feel. They made me angry. They ruined my day. They frustrated me. But what if that's not exactly true? So, in today's episode, I'm going to dive into the powerful difference between blame and responsibility, and how understanding this one concept can completely change your emotional life. Because the moment you stop blaming and start taking responsibility for how you feel, you take your power back. A lot of the work I do with clients is helping them realize something really powerful. You actually have far more control over your emotional life than you think. Over how you feel, over how you respond, over what meaning you give things. But most of us have been conditioned to do the opposite. We outsource our emotions. We give other people the power over how we feel. And the way that we do that is through blame. We blame other people. Sometimes we blame circumstances or situations. And very often we blame ourselves. But blaming is very different from taking responsibility. And the easiest way to tell the difference is really simple. How do you feel? Blame always feels heavy. It feels negative, disempowering, hopeless, out of control. Responsibility feels very different. Responsibility feels empowering. Your feelings are always self-generated. It's so easy to think that our feelings come from other people, what they said, what they did, what they didn't do. But the truth is, our feelings come from our thoughts about those things. My mentor, Brooke Castillo, calls this the difference between emotional childhood and emotional adulthood. Emotional childhood says, they made me feel this way. Emotional adulthood says, I am responsible for how I feel. So here are a few examples. We say things like, that person made me angry, or that person ruined my day, or my husband or my wife frustrates me. But it doesn't even have to be a person. Sometimes we blame the circumstance, like, I hate rainy days. They make me feel miserable. Or every Monday morning, I feel terrible. So now the weather controls your emotions, or the day of the week controls your emotions. It sounds funny when we say that, but this is what we do all the time. When we blame someone else for how we feel, we are handing them our power. We are essentially saying, you control my emotional life. And that puts you in a victim role. And the truth is, most of us don't want to be there. But blame might feel really good for a moment. It's not my fault, it's their fault. But long term, blame is incredibly disempowering. Because if someone else is responsible for how you feel, then you have no control over your life. Blame is backward looking. It focuses on fault. Who's wrong? Who messed up? But responsibility is different. Responsibility says, hey, what is my role here? Responsibility says, what do I want to do now? And it is forward looking. And most importantly, it puts you back in the driver's seat. Sometimes we're not blaming others. Sometimes we're blaming ourselves. Things like overeating or overdrinking or overspending or arguing with our partner or losing patience with our kids. Self-blame sounds like this. What is wrong with you? You are absolutely ridiculous. You need to get it together. Notice how that feels. It feels heavy. Lots of shame. Very defeating. Self-blame is just blame turned inward. It is still really disempowering. And once again, responsibility feels completely different. Responsibility says, I chose that. I chose to eat that dessert. I chose to react that way. And that doesn't mean you're proud of it. It just means that you own it. And ownership is powerful because once you own something, you have authority over it. Now you can ask yourself, do I want to do that again? Is there a better thought here? Or what would I choose to do next time? Blame leads to no action. Responsibility, now that leads to action. Because when you take responsibility, you step back into your power. You stop waiting for others to change. You stop waiting for the circumstance to change. And then you start changing your own thinking. And when your thinking changes, your feelings change. And when your feelings change, your actions change. And that's where real change begins in your life. So here is a question to ask yourself this week. When something happens, pause and ask yourself, am I in blame or self-blame or responsibility right now? And you will know the answer by how you feel. Blame feels disempowered. Responsibility feels really grounded. And it might feel humbling, but it still feels strong. The next time you catch yourself saying something like, they made me angry, pause and shift to, I'm feeling angry because of a thought I'm thinking. Just try that and breathe into it. Feel the difference in your body. Because the moment you take responsibility for your emotional life, you take your power back. And that is where real freedom begins. Have a beautiful week, my friends. Talk to you next week. If you enjoyed this podcast, check out my free workbook, 6 Secrets to Getting Anything That You Want. Head over to maureen-doyle.com/6secretsguide to pick up your free copy today.